For 200 years, the alien dragon lay chained beneath the ruins of the old empire, bound in the heart of a crumbling fortress that had long since fallen silent. His name was lost to history, but they once called him Vaerok the Dreadwing, a creature of fire and storm, a beast of war that scorched planets at the whim of his masters. But those masters were long dead. Now, Vaerok rotted in solitude, rusted iron coils fusing into his ancient scales, his power sealed by enchanted alloys made from extinct elements. Time had forgotten him, until she came. Her name was Liora, a girl from the refugee camps that had grown around the shattered fort. Most feared the ruins, but Liora had always been drawn to them. Something about the broken towers called to her, as if the stones whispered memories in her dreams. And one night, when hunger drove her to scavenge too far, she heard the breathing. It was deep and low, like thunder in a cave. She followed it cautiously, her hand gripping the edge of her cloak, and found herself in a chamber where no one dared go. There, in chains older than memory, lay the dragon. His body was massive, coiled like a mountain of silver-scaled despair, wings frayed and eyes glowing with cold, dim light. He didn't move, but he was alive, and he was watching her. Liora didn't scream. She stared. "You're real," she whispered. Vaerok's voice was a groan of gravel. "And you are either very brave or very foolish." She came back the next night, and the night after. She never brought weapons, only stories of how the world had changed, of how the warlords were gone, of how the stars no longer burned under tyrant flags. The dragon said little, but he listened, and one night she brought him soup. It wasn't much, just a chipped tin bowl filled with broth and floating roots, but the scent wafted up to the chains, and the dragon blinked as if stunned. "For you," she said, smiling shyly. "You're probably tired of dust." "No one has fed me in centuries," he rumbled, voice almost too soft to hear. His great jaw lowered, and he gently sipped from the bowl she held. Steam curled around his fangs. Something old stirred in his chest. Something ancient and forgotten. Warmth. And then a crack. The chain around his neck hissed. Liora stepped back in alarm as the metal glowed red-hot and began to unravel like wax beneath a flame. She dropped the bowl in shock as the entire coil of enchanted iron melted away, falling into liquid streams that vanished into the stone floor. Vaerok groaned, his body rising for the first time in 2 centuries. Wings flared wide, cracking the dust off ancient bones. The chamber shook. The torches flared blue. "What did you do?" Liora asked, wide-eyed. The dragon turned to her, awe and confusion etched into every scale. "I do not know," he said, "but something in that soup or in you broke the seal." She blinked, but it was just soup. He studied her, nostrils flaring. No, it was kindness. Magic once forged by hate can only be undone by something stronger. You brought compassion to a prison made of fear. A rush of wind swirled around them as Vaerok stretched fully upright. The fortress groaned under his power, but he did not fly away. He bent his great head and looked her in the eyes. "You freed me," he said, "and now I am yours." Liora stammered. "I didn't mean to. I just wanted to help." "And so you did." With a graceful sweep, he lifted her onto his back. The moment she touched his scales, a ripple of energy surged through her fingers. The old bindings of the fortress cracked and crumbled behind them. As they burst through the shattered roof into the starlit sky, Liora looked down one last time at the world she had known. Scraps of stone and ruin, tents flickering with firelight, misery layered in ash. Above her, freedom. Beside her, the last of the Dreadwings. And within her, a magic she had yet to understand.